Welcome back to the Analog Files. I'm your host, Odie, and today is episode 1 and part 1 of our favorite analog horror series. Alex Kister, one of my favorite analog horror creators, created the Mandela Catalogues, which is really what everybody looks at and thinks it started all of this. Not true. There were other things that started analog horror before. And, however, we will be looking at Volume 1, Tape 1, Tape 2, Tape 3, and Tape 4 of the original, not the remake. The restored version is not what we're looking at. We are looking at Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, and Part 4 of each tape. And we're going to look at the characters, and we're going to look at where where it happens, and different types of alternates. So, the Mandela Catalogues takes place in Mandela, Wisconsin. Mandela County, Wisconsin, which is a fictional area of Wisconsin. Some people believe that it's actually a place in Wisconsin, which it is not. It is fictional. Mandela Catalogues Volume 1 starts off with none other than a character we know as Archangel Gabriel. We are also introduced briefly to the think principle, and the episode served its purpose for an internet informational government broadcast over what alternates are, how to identify them, and what to do in the time of crisis. Tape 2, we're introduced to Victim 1 and Victor 2, aka Mark Heathcliff and Caesar Torres. Caesar called Mark, asking him to turn on the security cameras at his house while he was out taking his mom to the emergency room. The footage is of different times earlier that day. At 3:31, a shadow is seen in front of the backyard shed door. It cuts back, and apparently the shed door is normal, but the back hallway door is open. At 5:34, sound is detected. Caesar's mom can be heard shouting, and that proves that Caesar was replaced by his alternate version. At 10:30 p.m. on September 13th, 1992, Mark tried to call Caesar, and footage showed Mark trapped in the house, hearing the voice of the alternate. 2 days later, on the 15th, 10:58 p.m., Mark leaves the plane of existence, and a dial tone starts to play bad decision mark. The alternate of Caesar picks up the camera and stares into the camera. Mark's face is then shown as censored, and the text "Nobody came for me" is shown. Tape 3 and Tape 4 are practically completely different. One is the Mandela County Police Department training video, for call operators, and the other is the toddler stress assessment video. Tape 3 has some very interesting ideas. If looking at it, we can see that in the training video, they only bring up 3 and only 3 types of emergencies: police, fire, and medical. It also mentions for encounters, operators may not help a caller if calling about an alternate. Nothing is worth the risk is repeated. It's unsettling that if an operator gets a call about an alternate, they can't help the caller. Tape 4 is the toddler stress assessment video, which is 2 sections of sounds. Section 1 is audio of birds, a baby laughing, and a sheep bleating. Section 2 is a cat, a family in balloons, and the dark room next to the stairs from Mark's story is shown before it cuts to a picture of a man with the label, an intruder. Now, what is the intruder? Yeah, that's the biggest question here. Well, like I said earlier, we'll be talking about the characters and the alternates of this series as well. Characters of the series are the Archangel Gabriel, the intruder, Mark Heathcliff, Sarah Heathcliff, Caesar Torres, Adam Murray, Jonah Marshall, and Thatcher Davis. We're introduced to Archangel Gabriel, Intruder, Mark Heathcliff, and Caesar Torres in these first 4 tapes. The alternates that can appear are the doppelgangers, the unspeakable, the flawed impersonators, and Talupa, as well as Mimic. A brief description on each of these is that of the alternates is a doppelganger is a type of alternate whose appearance is almost identical to the human form they take. It's unsettling how identical they can look. An unspeakable are an unknown type and alternate. The unspeakable is heavily unknown to most, but from the knowledge given to certain people, it is implied that it's the alternate taking place of Archangel Gabriel. The flawed impersonators are a type of alternate whose form is noticeably different from their human counterpart. So it's the opposite of a doppelganger. They aren't exactly like their form they take. The Talupa is an alternate that is classified as a type 4 alternate, which is willed into existence by the imagination of a person who has watched the Midas' the subconscious, which is mostly typically children. And finally, the last alternate we will be talking about is a non-canonical mimic, which is a scrapped type of alternate that were able to become inanimate objects, which would have been classified as a type 5. Again, with the characters, Archangel Gabriel was classified under unspeakable because that's what everyone believed. The Mandela Catalogues is a long, long story. It's primarily set during the 1990s to late 2000s. And well, we will never know if it will ever become true, or if the mind of Alex Kister will continue to grow. But that is all for episode 1, The Mandela Catalogues by Alex Kister, here on the Analog Files. I will see y'all later.